But I'm going to bring up the next guy who, when I first started doing comedy, this guy actually gave me work, and it's a pleasure to somehow pay him back a little bit. He's traveled all over the country. He's going to L.A. this coming weekend to work out in the Comedy Store and a couple of college gigs on the West Coast. A favorite all around the Boston area. A nice round of applause for Mr. Chance Langton.
Nice to be in Boston. I have been driving all around the country, and I love traveling by car because I get to absorb more of the culture, and I find it interesting that people in different regions have their own favorite sayings. You go down south, it's like, you all come back now. You go out west, hey man, it's like awesome. Well, I'm from Boston, New England. My favorite saying is, shut up. It's not exactly hostile. I mean, I could say, shut up! I know people are going to get mad. But if I say, shut up, I'm cool. It helps me out. I went for this job interview once, and this arrogant guy asked me if I had a history of schizophrenia. I said yes and no. He said, what kind of an answer is that, pal? I said, shut up. See, I was in a bad mood, so I went to Friendly's. This girl asked me if I wanted my ice cream on a cone or in a cup. I said, why don't you put it on a hot dog roll? She said, I can't, it's against the rules. Shut up. This actually happened in Plymouth, Massachusetts. I spent Thanksgiving there. I thought it would be traditional. The place is very historic, yet very funny. They have a village in the middle of town, recreated to what it was like when the Pilgrims lived. And they have men and women dressed like pilgrims. This is their job. How embarrassing. See how tough it must be for a kid first day in school? Teacher walks in, tries to get acquainted. Well, Jimmy, what does your daddy do for a living? My daddy's a doctor. Very good, Jimmy. And what does your daddy do, Bartholomew? He's a friggin' pilgrim. What do you think I'm dressed like this for? Shut up. Grade school is very, very painful for me. I was in the 4th grade and the school bully broke my leg in 2 places. First in the hallway, then in the gym. She was a tough girl. I knew right then I had to toughen up, so I became an athlete, a baseball player to be exact, and I worked year in and year out till finally I got a scholarship to the University of New Hampshire, UNH, better known as There I was, the relief pitcher, and they brought me in, bases loaded, nobody out. Struck out the first 2 guys. Arizona's big hitter came up, big mean-looking kid, so I looked at him and played a little game. Bowed my head, moved the sand around, got up, removed the sand from my mouth. I wound up and I pitched, and I hit him in the head. Kid started crying. I started laughing, because that's the way I am. The beauty of being an athlete is you play a game, it relieves tensions, you forget about all your problems. Now I'm not much of an athlete anymore, so I have to invent my own little games to relieve the tensions of everyday life. What I do is I wake up in a mood to annoy other people. Took this beautiful lady out to a restaurant. Bill came to $200. I didn't have any money. So I asked her if I could borrow $5, and she gave it to me. And I went outside and took a cab home. because that's the way I am. Yeah, sometimes I'm bored, I'll drive my Chevy around, I'll stop, I'll ask someone for directions. Just as he's about to give them to me, I drive off. That's the way I am. If I see anybody riding on a moped, I slap him in the face. Someone has to do it. When I see a student driver, I pass him on the right. Pull in front of him and spin out. Fall out of the car. Pour tomato juice on my face. He'll have confidence. But I'm trying to gain a healthier attitude. See, I know it's somewhat antisocial the way I've been behaving, so I've been getting into music lately, and I have a guitar here. And you'll see a lot of comedians will play guitar. They'll do cheap impressions to get cheap laughs. And I'm going to do many of them now. I have observed performers for a number of years, and maybe you've seen this. You walk into a nightclub and a guy plays his guitar great, and then he sings, and it's not quite what you expect. And the same guy will play jazz. I wrote those one night. I was feeling my oats. I was a little bit loaded. I wrote a song about drinking. You ever get so drunk, you go to wave down a taxi, but instead you flag down the police. Then you get in, but you're happy because they don't put the meter on. Now, I can't be a total goof with music, and actually I'm a little bit proud of the fact that I have a day job which is related to music. I write commercials, and I just wrote one for Pampers featuring Barry Manilow. Her name is Lola, she did a caca. Barry Manilow saw me do that one night, and he called me a jerk. I said, shut up. Because that's the way I am. I won't forget you.
Langton. He won't forget you.